The Serpent People. Feather Serpent of America, Vulture Snake of Sumer, Tempter Serpent of the Bible. Who is this Serpent People found in all mythologies? The first Chinese emperors, successors to the legendary Emperor Yao, said they were descended from dragons. In India, high caste families still believe in their ancestors being snake gods, called Nagas.
The Dogons of Mali
claim that their extraordinary astronomical knowledge came to them from their ancestral reptilian celestial aspect, the Nomos. The Egyptians had their snake god, Neph. Neph and the pharaohs were often depicted with snakes, usually cobras. The Phoenicians had Agatha diamond serpent. The cultures of Central America worshipped their creator god, Quetzalcoatl, who was also known as Venus. The Wing Serpent as Bahalinkanga, the feathered serpent of the Hopi Indians. Followers of voodoo have a serpent god they call Damballa Wedo. The Hebrews have Nak Houston, the brazen serpent. Houston, we had a problem.
The ancient god of the British Isles, called Hu,
The master
of the dragon world.
The first altar of the Cyclops in Athens was dedicated to Ops, the god snake, OPS. I like other people's stuff. Indigenous Australians also have their myth of Waggle, a god serpent. According to the Gnostics, the snakes are our instructors. They're called demiurges who shaped our bodies, but not our soul, which is not theirs, because it is uncreated. Now, what the heck do they mean by uncreated? We'll get back to it. We are born from light, just like them, but our terrestrial vehicle, this triple body of flesh and spirit, we owe it to them.
The Gnostic Philosophy was born in the early Christian era, within the Mediterranean basin, mainly in Egypt, heir of the ancient religion of Isis, mysteries. To its followers, man is the emanation of the source of all things, and inherit a piece. See Notre Peri Promethi of this creative perfection. On the contrary, our triple body has been shaped by harmful beings, usurpers who have proclaimed themselves gods. The famous Archon, Yahweh, or Yahweh, is regarded by the Gnostics as the chief of the Archons, the great demiurge, the most evil creature. In the 4th century, confrontation between the Gnostics and the fathers of the Church was violent and merciless. Most of the texts were destroyed before the discovery of Nag Hammadi's famous scrolls of 1945. What was known about Gnosis was limited to the reviews of heresy hunters in the early days of Christianity, which is very unfortunate because Jesus himself was a Gnostic. He said that you find heaven within, paradoxically, to save the religion of Christ. The fathers of the Church had to invent a charming character they named Jesus. Before that, Christ, it was Emperor Constantine. In the time of Jesus, Kali Yuga was only 2,000 years old. Now it is twice that age. Very little truth floats in an ocean of errors. Let us get back to those harmful beings who have shaped us, since this is the Gnostic view. According to Anton Parks, there is also a mistake there. The gifted geneticists who made us were not as evil as it seemed at first. To Parks, the mother goddess is the Sumerian goddess Tiamat. That is she who deserves firstly the title of primordial serpent. Initially, this term was positive because the snake is the wisest among all the field beasts, said the oldest version of the Torah, called the Septuagint. As for the Bible, it says quite the opposite. The snake is the most cunning of all animals. Thus, the serpent is the ally of men and the creator of the human race. Well, A snake kills rats, and I would rather be with a snake than a rat. He personifies the mother goddess, Tiamat, assisted by her son Enki, called Osiris in Egypt,
Owens in Persia,
Owens in Persia, and Prometheus in Greece. Among the Dogons, he is Nomo. Among the Mesoamericans, he is Quetzalcoatl. And among the Hindus, Vishnu. He is the first instructor of our species. Like the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl, like the god fishes Nomo, Owens, or Vishnu. He has always supported and defended men when other gods wanted to kill us. As our creator, Prometheus, siding with the men against his uncle, the powerful Zeus. Or again, as Osiris protecting us from Seth. I thought it was Seth who wanted our loss. Or as Enki protecting us from Enlil, who also wanted to end the human experience because we were too loud, right? As we already understood, all these legends refer to a unique history, and their convergence support its veracity. Indeed, I think our history is way more than we even can consider, because all the good stuff is kept from us, etc. How come the snake, our designer and our ally, the wisest of all animals, has become the most cunning, the most dangerous? The beast identified to Satan in our modern religions. According to the translators of the Nag Hammadi manuscripts, it is explained by a semantic shift. Yes, when the Romans wiped out the Gnostics and when they conquered Egypt, they took whatever they felt they wanted of their religion and their myths, and they did the same thing to the Greeks. The Romans, I don't think they ever had an original idea. Beast is the translation of quasi-homophones in Aramaic. Hawa, Hewa.
Hewa,
Hewa meaning stupid. Hawa meaning to teach. And Haya meaning serpent. The gods' geneticists work on the human genotypes that the text calls modelings. Then the authorities called the beast so that she corrects the mistake of their modelings. The beast is not evil, as she corrects the mistakes of the apprentice sorcerers. The true meaning of the beast is the instructor, as she was thought wiser than anyone. Whether we like it or not, we are the children of the beast, and it does not stop us from being born of light. Well, the Bible had two gods. The Old Testament, Elohim, Saturn, El, and the New Testament is Yahweh, Jupiter, gods, and the angels who accompany. In the Rig Veda, devs, that's funny, because they call developers on games that they have for multiplayers, from developers to devs, and when they're talking about human creation, they have devas. It's kind of interesting. The angels, devas, and the titans, Osiris, are similar. There are no coincidences. If the angels are represented in the guise of men and birds, the titans are in the guise of dragons and snakes. Once again, one finds the idea of birdmen and snake men, but this time at the other end of the world. We may wonder if those snakes were, some of them being giants, these titans, who were the old masters of the earth, would not simply be the ancient people of the dinosaurs. Man would have been living with them for millennia. Traces still remain in everyone's mind. At the same remote time, birdmen and snake men would have appeared. India, Mesopotamia, and America. If all these people have named them the same way, there must be an obvious reason. What does the bird? It flies. These men knew how to fly. What does the snake? It crawls. But he also swarmed on the surface of the water. He also swam on the surface of the water, or just below the surface. These men knew how to sail on and underwater. Their planes were also submarines, as the swordfish of E.P. Jacobs. Another thing that is not irrelevant, the snake and the vulture were the hallmark of the first pharaohs of Egypt and their successors, and have kept through all the dynasties.
according to Sri Mataja. Who?
Sri Mataji.
Sri Mataji. This symbol means the awakening of the Kundalini. The snake is the Kundalini, and the vulture is its rays. This implies all pharaohs were awake, as well as all those who adorn the title of snake vulture. Why not? I readily agree. The ritual of the foundation of the temple, the king wears the title of snake charmer. The bird is the animal that is closest celestial forces. I'm a hawk hovering over the country, which arises on earth, determine its borders. I'm a reptile seeking shade, hiding in the protective enclosure, wrote Hatshepsut. There it is, Queen Hatshepsut. Yeah, I used to have a hard time saying Hatshepsut until I figured it out. Practiced. Sovereign of Egypt, hitherto governed by men, she reigned 21 years, from 1479 to 1458 BC. After 7 years, she gave herself the rank of pharaoh. Kundalini gives us our second birth. As the snake, the bird is an animal that is born twice, first as egg, then as chick. This idea of rebirth through the power of subtle energy is expressed in the symbols of the cobra and vulture, both born out of an eggshell. The vulture is the fate of being reborn, free to fly to be closer to the sky. In India, it's called Divija, the twice born. And that was just reading from this website.